you know, there are parallels, I think, to, and I hope you take this the right way, toward Justified in this record, where I feel like this is an opportunity for you to come out and make a really, an incredible body of work that people will look at you in a different light.
That's what I want. That's the goal.
You know, and I know Justin is someone that you obviously admire and you're a huge fan of.
Huge.
I mean, is that someone you've had a chance to meet, or?
Yeah, Justin. I mean, I met him. I've only met him a couple times.
Remember the first time you met him?
The first time I met him was going to Taylor Swift's birthday party. I'm with my friend Jeff, and this is the first time I ever played Madison Square Garden, and I was crazy sick. I had the crazy flu. I was on all types of drugs to try and get me out of the flu, and I was like, and I get in the elevator, and Joy Williams, Ryan Tedder, and Justin Timberlake walk in. I never met Ryan that night. I didn't even know him. And they all walk in, and my friend and Jeff and I were just like, how you guys doing? You know?
Because, by the way, lifts, if you want to have an awkward experience...
I'm aiming for comfort, but it's going to be the opposite.
You don't even have to say anything to be uncomfortable in a lift. You can just stand a certain way and it makes people uncomfortable in a lift.
So then we're at the party, overwhelmed because Beyonce and Jay-Z are over here and Justin Timberlake's over here. And he actually comes up to us, me and my friend, and he just introduces himself in the most casual way. And we were talking about, you know, touring, and then the next time I saw him was in Rock in Rio.
Did he recognize that you were the guy who was super awkward in the lift?
I think so. I think that was his thing. I think he actually recognized, he went on to tell me, I was like, I was like, yeah, I just played MSG for the first time, like, was so nervous. He's like, dude, I've been there. And kind of like recognized, you know, like the younger version of what he was doing, you know?
Yeah, I like the way that he's kind of become, you know, his career has developed into a place, I'm being so deliberate, into a place where I think he understands the influence he has on younger artists, and he embraces that.
It's like us, like everyone coming up in the industry looks at Justin like he's this like the number one, you know? When Justin released the album, I was like freaking out. And I remember I texted him the day after he did the Super Bowl, and what did he say? I said, dude, you slayed the Super Bowl, like amazing job. He goes, thank you, young Jedi. Period. That was it. That was the best text message I've ever received.
You start using Star Wars references?
I know, it's like, thank you.
What are you, Obi-Wan Kenobi now? Well, you're out of here, you're done.
But it was
That's too good, that's too good. And what about Jay-Z and Beyonce? Did you go speak to them that night?
I did, and I was too scared. Actually, at one point, Beyonce and I were both, you know, beeline to the bathroom. Beyonce was going, and I said, after you, and she said, thank you, honey. And it was the most charming thing I've ever seen in my life.
Exactly. Who does that to you still? Who have you yet to meet that, you know?
Everyone, and it never really goes away. I was on tour with Taylor Swift for a month, and
which is basically like being anointed in pop terms.
And every time she walked up to me, I was like, you know, like I can't breathe all of a sudden, and it was like, but I like that. I think that's really nice.
Did you get to write with her or play with her? Because I know that the guitars come out sometimes in situations
I didn't.
like that.
She was super busy. Like she was playing the show, and then she had promo in the mornings, and was meet and greets at nighttime. But the one thing she said to me one night, and she goes, how you feeling? I said, good. I think we were in Toronto. I said, I'm just a little nervous, you know, hometown show and stuff. And she goes, just remember that everyone came here to have fun. This isn't like The Voice, you know? No one's here judging you and rating you out of 10. And I remember that was just, sometimes it's the simplest thing to change an entire mindset. And I remember the second she said that, that was the best show of the whole tour. And I take that with me, no matter what I'm doing, whether it's like an interview or whether it's a performance or anything. It's just like, I mean, in most cases, people aren't there to judge you. They're there to just have fun and help, you know?
Yeah, no, it's true. I wonder what it's like for you being a young artist in this situation, living in a time like this. And I'm just going to say it, like we've come from this trolling environment where information and things get passed about and everybody tries to beat each other up. People, we don't know each other, we just beat each other up. And yet when the ultimate troll is sitting in power, I feel like that changes the whole landscape and everybody now starts to look around for some inspiration and some spirituality and a reason to connect.
Totally. I always say, like, internet is incredible and the worst thing in the world, because it takes something bad and makes it the worst thing ever. And then but it takes something beautiful and great and makes it the most incredible thing you've ever seen. So it's like, especially for me, like when I'm speaking online or when I'm even releasing music, I'm trying to stay stepping forward in a positive way, never taking steps backwards.
And coming from Canada, but spending a lot of time in America and being able to kind of be a part of the situation, it must be fascinating for you to see the youth really rise up and take control now.
It's incredible. Yeah. It is really incredible, and I think it's just gonna keep getting stronger.
Yeah.
The power of kids in our generation is just getting more powerful, and more intelligent too. And I asked my 15-year-old sister, sorry, what she thinks about things. It's like I'm speaking to an educated 20-year-old. You know what I mean? The kids are just getting smarter and understanding life. And I think this is. I was thinking I'm so lucky to be growing up in a time like this, because I think we're going through an insanely huge jump, a big leap of acceptance and changing in the most positive way, and it's exciting.
You know, I think about you and where you're at this time in your life, and I think about a female artist who I think has made a similar statement and moved forward, and you guys have collaborated before, and we both actually said some words about her at the Billboard Awards this year, which is Camila, and how you guys just seem to be kind of in a similar situation, you know, her forging forward and finding her identity, being strong, producing to a degree her own music, writing her own music. You have produced a lot on this record yourself, writing your own music. Do you feel like there's a kinship in that regard?
Oh my God, she is my favorite person in the whole world.
Isn't she brilliant?
I don't think you'll ever meet somebody who can feel emotion like her in all aspects. You know, she can feel hurt like no other, but she can feel love like no other, and it's really amazing. I remember when we wrote "I Know You Did" last summer in the studio with her. Just her love for what she believed in was just so powerful that it kind of just pushed me to like make an entire album out of inspiration of the one night. You know what I mean? I'm so proud of her, truly. I remember having conversations with her when Stitches went #1, and she goes, "I want to have that one day." And I was like, "Oh, you'll be there." Now it's like last week, you know, Havana's #1 right now.
Crazy, unstoppable. And she's funny as well. I wonder, like, you know,
hilarious.
What's your funniest story about hanging with Camila? Because she's goofy as hell.
So goofy. I mean, you're funny, but also don't get on her bad side. She can stand her ground, that's for sure. I wouldn't mess with her, but she's also the sweetest person in the world. Yeah.